Do you grow lemons in Ontario in December? I do. I do it indoors. This is a Meyer lemon tree that we keep in a wicking bed. So this Meyer lemon tree has been here for about a year and a half, and we've already gotten fruit off of it. So it takes about 7 months or so to develop fruit from flower. And we have these beautiful flowers over here. So we harvested the fruit. We got about 7 fruit off of this already in our first year. And we're in line to get some more beautiful fruit off of these flowers. Now these flowers smell absolutely delectable, so they really fill the air with this amazing citrusy aroma. And this tree couldn't be easier to keep in this indoor system that we have. Now immediately below this Meyer lemon tree, we have all of these individual plants. And so we have these house plants that I can't necessarily name. My wife isn't here to help me with that. But we have a beautiful spider plant over here. And then we have a few other tropical plants that like the sort of warm, misty environment that we produce here for the lemon tree. Now, the lemon tree is misted 2 or 3 times a day. And so we just come in with a mister and we mist that. And it gets all of the moisture that it needs because these trees, of course, are native to places like Florida. And so we want to make sure it gets somewhat of a similar environment to that. Now, not only is this system in a south-facing window, but we also keep it next to our wood stove. And so it gets a significant amount of heat from it. And then as we start to increase the thermal mass around the wood stove, of course, the lemon tree will be able to take advantage of that as well. We keep our wood stove going all year, not all year round, excuse me. We keep our wood stove going in the winter, all winter long. And so this wonderful tree stays nice and toasty all year round. And then we have the option of bringing it outside should we decide to do that in the summer, or we can just keep it in here and give it a little bit more shade because the overhang of our home is going to limit the amount of sunlight that comes in through that window in the summertime. But currently we're in December, and so we get quite a bit of sunlight coming in and converting that solar energy into wonderful abundance here. Now, in this space, we have these essentially ornamental or air cleaning house plants that are tropical, but you could also keep some culinary herbs or some medicinal herbs in here as well in pots. And you could have what is essentially an edible guild right here within your home. So we grow our lemon tree in a whiskey barrel. It's an old whiskey barrel that we purchased for really not a lot of money. And we cut the top off of it and we turned it into a wicking bed. And so a wicking bed essentially is where you water a reservoir at the bottom of the bed, and then that is separated by a layer. In our case, we have 3-inch gravel, and we have that topped off with a layer of several thick layers of burlap. And then over top of that burlap, we have a mix of tropical potting soil along with some simple compost. We filled that reservoir up, we planted our tree, and then as we were layering those up, we inserted this tube here, this pipe, this plastic pipe. We placed that at the bottom so that we could fill the reservoir while bypassing the soil itself in order to fill it. So we're actually watering the tree from under the tree. So the wicking bed is watered via capillary action. So we pour the water into the plastic tube. It fills the reservoir, so it fills the space in between the 3-inch gravel, the 3-inch rocks. And then it evaporates, or it soaks through capillary action through the soil and waters the tree from beneath. And then any overflow will go into this container over here via this little pipe. And so as we water the container, as we fill the reservoir, this pipe here, this overflow spout is placed below the top of the gravel, so it never has a chance really to go to full capacity unless we just keep pouring water into there. And then that water is going to overflow into this container here, and that's how we know that the reservoir is at capacity, and then we can use the water that pours into this container to, in this case, water the lavender that we're overwintering here in the house. And so we can water that with the overflow from this whiskey barrel system. Now we allow any leaf litter to just stay here and decompose on the surface. We're not really afraid of biological activity happening here or small insects happening. It's really just a part of life, and we integrate that into our daily living. And then we'll also come in every once in a while and we'll just top dress with some fresh compost to continue that nutrient cycle that happens here as a result of that, which continues to feed our tree. Every once in a while, when we see that it's about to fruit, we'll add some fish emulsion, some diluted fish emulsion, which is a high nutrient fertilizer derived from, well, fish pee. So the end product of this beautiful flower, in our case, was fermented lemons. So all we did is we pressed these lemons down with some salt, similar to what you would do with sauerkraut, and we ensured that they were completely covered with liquid before we applied a press to them. And now we're just storing them in the fridge as fermented lemons, which we use as a topping or in soups and stews and other recipes that we use. So all of this from one harvest of Meyer lemons off of our indoor tree. If you're looking to grow tropical fruit in a cold climate in December, consider creating one of these whiskey barrel wicking beds and growing yourself some lemons.
Let's plant some trees. Let's plant some trees. Nice and big and shady.